Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Karuna Babbar. Welcome to my case series cybersecurity lecture notes, starting with computer network basics. Computer network. It is a collection of nodes connected by some media link. Link can be wired or wireless connection. Here, a node could be a device with a capability of sending and receiving data. It can be computer, it can be your laptop, it can be your tablet, mobile, and any other device. A computer network must have performance, reliability, and scalability as its basic characteristics. Now, starting with OSI reference model. Computer network architecture is based on OSI reference model, and according to OSI reference model, we have 7 layers. Starting from the bottom layer, that is the physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation, and then application layer is at the top layer of OSI reference model. Now, the physical layer, which is at the bottom of OSI model, it is the first and the lowest layer of OSI model. It converts bits, that is 0 and 1, into electronic signals for outgoing messages and electronic signals back into bits, that is 0 and 1, for incoming messages. Now here 0 represents the no network and 1 represents the positive network. It provides the interface between the computer and the physical medium of the network. The physical layer constitutes the foundation for the driver software of the unit, such as network interface cards, that we generally call as NICs. Next layer is our data link layer, which is responsible for reliable data transfer via media, physical address, network topology, flow control, and error control notifications. It basically handles a special data frame, that is packets between the network layer and the physical layer, as it is at layer 2. So behind it is the physical layer, and up and above this particular layer is our network layer. So at the receiving end, this layer converts the raw data coming from the physical layer into data frame format and to be passed on further to the network layer. At the sending end, this layer converts the data frames into raw data format, which gets passed on further to the physical layer. Our third layer is our network layer, which is responsible for routing. It provides the connectivity and path selection also. It manages addressing for the messages to be delivered, performs transaction of logical network addresses and names into their physical equivalents, decides routing of network traffic between computers. It manages packet switching also and deals with network traffic congestion. So these 3 layers are the bottom 3 layers of OSI model, and our layer 4 constitutes the transport layer. Basically, transport layer is responsible for end-to-end connections. It manages data transportation between hosts, establishes, maintains, and terminates the virtual circuits. It is also responsible for information flow control, error detection, and recovery. See here, it enables the transmission of data across a network and performs the segmentation of long data units into smaller segments called packets. It assembles and performs sequencing of data chunks arriving at the receiver, provides confirmation of successful transmissions and signals for resending the erroneous data packets, and it also transfers a message between two processes. So now comes our layer 5, which is our session layer. Now communication between two hosts is responsible, and it is done in session layer. It establishes, maintains, and terminates logical sessions between the different applications. It helps in identifying and managing a communication channel termed as session between two devices over a network. Applications on either end of the session are able to communicate for the duration of the valid session. This particular layer is also responsible for initiating, maintaining, and termination of sessions. Its prime responsibility is for security and access control to session information, that is via session participant identification. Checkpoint services. This particular layer is also responsible for synchronization and checkpoint services. Layer 6, which is our presentation layer, this particular layer ensures that data is readable by the receiving system, manages format of the data and its structure and syntax for application layer. It manages data format information and acts like a translator for outgoing messages. It converts data into a generic format for network transmission. For incoming messages, it converts data from the generic network format to a format that the receiving application can easily understand. This particular layer is also responsible for protocol conversions. All the data conversions takes place here at this particular layer, like data encryption, decryption, data compression, data decompression. Now, a special software facility called a redirector operates particularly at this layer. It determines if a request is network related or not, and if the request is network related, that particular request to an appropriate network resource. Finally, we have the layer 7, top layer of OSI model. It provides a set of interfaces for sending and receiving applications and to use network services such as message handling, database query processing. And this particular layer is also responsible for providing any kind of services to the end user. If I say the services to the users, these services can be in the form of email, in the form of file transfers, in the form of remote logins. And to summarize all these layers again, let me start from physical layer. It was responsible for the transmission of bits through electrical signals, or and it also provides mechanical and electrical specifications of the data. Then comes our data link layer. It organizes bits into frames and provides hop to hop delivery. As far as network layer is concerned, it is responsible for routing, moving data packet from source to destination, and provides inter-networking between them. Transport layer, it provides the process to process message delivery and error recovery. Session layer establishes, manages, and terminates the sessions. Presentation layer translates the conversions, is responsible for all the data conversions, encryption, decryption, compression, decompression of data. It acts basically as a translator. As far as application layer is concerned, it allows the user access to network resources. Now, before moving further, we must understand how data is formed. So, starting with our bits, which is at our physical layer. So, when bits are transmitted from the physical layer, these are in the form of 0 and 1, where 0 implies no network and 1 implies the positive network. And these bits are transmitted in the form of electronic signals and back forth. Now comes the framing. Framing of data takes place at the data link layer, the bunch of data created by network communication hardware, that is network interface card or router interfaces at data link layer. Then comes the packetization of these particular frames. Now these packets are formed at network layer. Here, stream of binary octets of data of some arbitrary length, typically used to describe chunks of data created by software components. Then comes the segmentation. Here, the chunk of data that has been prepared for transmission control protocol, usually a segment is a chopped or a manageable data stream. Now comes our exact data, which is a generic term. Now, the frame format, data floats. As you can see in my picture, we have frame format of both wired as well as wireless network. In the wired frame format, as you can see, our data payload is of 42 to 1500 bytes. But to carry this particular data payload, to ensure that this particular data flows without any error securely, we add extra bytes into it, like preamble, 7 bytes preamble, 1 byte delimiter, 6 bytes of MAC address, source address and destination address, then the 2 bytes of data type into it, 4 bytes of error correction codes are also added into it. As far as Wi-Fi frame format is concerned, see here the data payload is from 0 to 2312 bytes, and to carry this particular data we need extra bytes so that our data floats securely correctly without any error. Here we add 2 bytes of frame control, 2 bytes of duration, 6 bytes of MAC addresses of source, destination, and router, sequence control 2 bytes, then the error correction of 4 bytes. At the network layer, when our network packet is made, here also our data is encapsulated with different headers like TCP header, which is added at the transport layer, IP header, which is added at the network layer, and the Ethernet header, which is added at the data link layer. Now the protocols and the devices we use at these particular layers. See, from the transport layer to upper layer, that is the application layer. From devices we use gateways. And the protocols FTP for file transfer protocol, HTTP hypertext transfer protocol, DNS domain name servers, DHCP, then SSL MIME is there, sockets remote procedure calls at session layer work. At transport layer, we have transmission control protocol and user datagram protocol, which I will explain in my next slide. And then at network layer, we have two type of IP addressing schemes. We implement IP version 4 and IP version 6. At network layer are routers, frame relay devices. Then in data link layer, we use bridges and switches, repeaters and hubs at physical layer, and the standards which we generally use are IEEE 802.2 onwards. Now comes our TCP UDP. What exactly is the difference between the transmission control protocol and the user datagram protocol? Basic differences: transmission control protocol is reliable, connection oriented. Here we need acknowledgement segments, we need segment sequencing also. But in case of user datagram protocol, its services are quite unreliable. We don't need any connection establishment here. We don't need any sequencing, and no acknowledgement is done over here. So basically, what exactly transmission control protocol does is it works upon three-way handshake. As you can see in my picture here, let me show you. See here. Now in TCP, the sender sends the sync signal to the receiver. Receiver sends back the sync acknowledgement to the sender, and sender again sends the acknowledgement to the receiver. This way, a three-way handshake is performed in case of transmission control protocol. All these services provided through this particular protocol are reliable, and as the connection is established, a dedicated connection is established in TCP. Whereas in case of user datagram protocol, as you can see, receiver sends the request to the sender, and thereafter sender starts sending the responses without waiting for any acknowledgements. These services are unreliable, and generally in case of broadcasting in real-time applications, we use user datagram protocol. Here we don't establish any dedicated connection, and no acknowledgements, no sequencing is required. Now IEEE standardization, what exactly it is? IEEE is the world's largest technical professional organization for the advancement of technology. This IEEE provides us the standardization of computer networks like 802.2 onwards for wired connections, and for wireless networks also comes the MAC address. MAC address is the organizationally unique identifier. As you can see in the picture here, this MAC address is printed on the surface of the chip and burned into the ROM chip. This particular is the network interface controller, which is the NIC card, and herein MAC address is burned onto the ROM chip. That's all for today. In my next upcoming video, I will cover repeaters, hubs, and few more protocols which we use in computer networks. Thanks for watching.